Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew back here with another video here. Again, this is continuing my 80s series, so this is 85 to 89. So basically, I had a really quick announcement here. One of the greatest honors for me came just this past like 2 days ago. I was asked by Moods, if you know, and then from Derek. I don't know if you guys follow the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. I was asked by those two if I would be willing to join the Body Bags review channel, and I said of course I would love to do that. So I will now. I'm gonna tilt this camera down just a little bit. Now I will be reviewing on the Body Bags page. So if you don't follow that already, I will. I don't know the exact name, but I will post a link in the description and for you to go to like the page. I will be doing a review every Wednesday on there. This first review is going to be tomorrow. When you guys are seeing this, it's going to be on Wednesday tomorrow, it'll be on slasher, so I'm not sure what slasher, but as you know, I have quite a few to choose from. So yeah, I'm super honored and excited to be able to do this and have the opportunity to do, what I love. I could talk about horror movies all day, every day. So the more that I get to do that with whoever, I will feel for sure do that. So yeah, that's without further ado. I definitely love the opportunity to do that. A couple things that missed the list here. I didn't want to consider this a horror movie. It may fit into the horror. It kind of feels like a slasher. It has a slasher elements, but it's more of a sci-fi. I just didn't count it. Night of the Demons missed. I love this. It's super fun, but it just missed the cut. The original Child's Play missed the cut just barely. Aliens, it's one of the greatest sci-fi horror movies ever made. It probably is the best made. Maybe The Thing, maybe this one. It's one of the two. It's in more of an action horror, but I love that movie. It just missed the cut because ironically, as you see, I have more that I had to get rid of on the 85 to 89 than the 81 to 84, which is so surprising to me. And then April Fool's Day, I have a blast with this movie, but there's just so many that it missed the cut. No offense to these movies, I just love them, but they're also Witchboard. I actually haven't watched this movie since I bought it, but I really need to watch this very soon. I really liked this movie the first time I saw it, but that's why I probably haven't watched it enough to really put it on. But all of those movies I love to death, and it pains me that I had to take those off. So, without further ado, I'll get into this. Number 15 for me is Wes Craven's Hills Have Eyes Part 2. It's one of those where I really have a great time with this movie. It's super fun. It's one of those ones where it's definitely not a traditional, like I said before, it's not a typical Craven movie. It's just a fun slasher movie from the 80s. Up next is Texas Chainsaw Part 2. Well, again, as you know, my 31 Days of Halloween, I watched this for the first time, and it makes my top 15 list. It's a blast. It's super fun. It's a really good time. It's over the top. Hooper did a good job with this movie, and Dennis Hopper, rest in peace, he's really good in the movie. Yeah. Number 13, I have this 8-pack here, but what's going to come in there is Slaughter High. God, I love this film. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's super fun. It's got Harry Manfredini's score. The killer's really cool. The kills are really cool. It's campy. It's everything an 80s slasher movie pretty much is. It's really, really fun. Up next is, again, another one pretty much a 80s slasher movie is that's Shocker. This is 89, so it barely makes the cut, along with another movie coming up here. Super fun, super really good. It's got a pretty cool message. You know, it has to do with, you know, how the TV and everything affects our lives. And it's just a fun movie. Like, Horace Pinker's just a really good movie. The only thing I could say is I wish it was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes shorter. It runs about an hour and 50 minutes. It gets a little tedious after a while. You know, I feel like they could have trimmed down a little bit in the beginning and a little bit in the middle. But yeah, nonetheless, it is a blast to watch. It's one of Craven's best. I love that I have a slipcover of this. Yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, this is number 11, and that's gonna be Stage Fright. Now, this is directed by Mikhail Suave, it was also, yeah, this guy was a protege of Dario Argento, so, I haven't watched it with that in mind. I actually haven't watched this in quite some time. I'm actually trying to watch this one this month. I'll actually probably be watching it next Friday night. So this one will definitely be one that I'll check out to see I'll let you guys know what I think about it. So with that in mind. But I love this movie nonetheless. It's super good. It's a really good slasher movie. It's got some creepy parts. It's got some great kills. It's gory as hell. And it's got really good characters. It's basically, it takes place in it's like a musical, and there is like almost like a Broadway musical in Italy, and it's, you know, they're practicing for it. It's so good. I've been a part of like, you know, as always, you know, I've always really liked, you know, musicals and stuff like that. So I was a part of a couple of those things, and I know what practicing at night is like. So it kind of brings back those memories, and it's pretty realistic. Up next, number 10, and I know this is a lot of people's favorite horror movie, so this might disappoint some, but that's going to be Pet Sematary. This is such a good movie. It is a blast. The transfer looks incredible on this. This is a Paramount movie, and yeah, directed by Mary Lambert, and I don't know if she wrote it or not. No, Stephen King wrote the screenplay to this. Probably is one of the reasons why he likes it, too. But the acting is great in this movie. The direction is great. It is a creepy movie. It's so good. The story's good. It's basically like, to me, Frankenstein with a twist. You know, Frankenstein and Pet Sematary all have to touch on the subjects of, like, you know, like humans wanting to control life, and, you know, just that whole aspect. Really, really good movie. Number 9 is gonna be Death Spa. Oh, I've watched this movie 3 times since I bought it last, like, in September, or maybe August, I can't remember. I've watched this movie, and it is a blast. My brother will see what this is like. I mean, you can just imagine with a cover like this and the name Death Spa. It is a blast, though. It is so fun. It actually takes itself relatively seriously, too. It's just super fun. It's just one of those movies that's got a lot of charm, and yeah, it's just a really good time. It's got really good cinematography for what it is. It's an 80s slasher movie, and it's pretty well shot. The acting's good for what it was. It's really good. Now, number 8 is Killer Workout. This is probably one of the worst films ever made. I'm not even kidding, but it is such a fucking good time. It is like... There's so many just terrible scenes in this movie, but it is like you can't help but laugh at this movie. The kills are all just bad and terrible. The effects look terrible, and it takes itself over seriously. And get used to seeing aerobic scenes, because you will see it about a dozen times in like 2 minutes apiece. It is just a bad movie, but it is it is so fun. Oh my god, it is fun. Yeah, it's just, man, it is a guilty pleasure. If there ever was a guilty pleasure, that is a guilty pleasure. Number 7, again, another guilty pleasure, Evil Dead 2. not as bad of a made film by any means as Killer Workout, but this is, there are scenes that just have me just side split, just laughing my ass off. Just the scene where they're all laughing together. I am in tears every time I watch this movie when that scene comes on. There's so many scenes that are just so over the top and funny. I really like this movie. I think the comedy works better in this one than in Army of Darkness. It's a lot more over the top in this movie, and it just, I don't know, blends in better. But yeah. Up next, I'm showing this, but you might be able to tell. It's the third one. Now, the fourth one would just miss the list too. It's an honorable mention too, but the third one I really like. It's got the perfect blend of like horror and like some comedic one-liners by Freddy. The story I think is one of my favorites. You know, with the whole, you know, they introduce you a little bit to Freddy's past and how his mother, you know, and all of that stuff. So that's kind of cool. I like that. Also, Heather Langenkamp. I can't, you know, it's Heather Langenkamp. Up next, honestly, any three of these movies could have made the list, but it's going to be Fright Night. I've always loved Fright Night. It's really, really fun. It's one of my favorite vampire movies. It's definitely top 5, if not top 3. Yeah, it's such a really good time. Chris Sarandon's good in this movie. I can't remember who else that I remember in this movie, but it's really, really good. I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's like a comedy horror, but it's definitely more horror. The story is really, really clever. It takes place in suburban USA, so really, really good. Now, down to number 4. And I got another one that is the guilty pleasure of all guilty pleasures. Sleepaway Camp 2. Oh my god, this movie just has me cracking up laughing the whole movie. It is a blast. It is a guilty pleasure. It is so over the top. As you can tell, she's got a chainsaw there. She's got Freddy's knife gloves there. She's got Jason's mask. And you can tell on the back she's wearing Jason's mask. And everything about this movie is just over the top. Just so fun. All the characters are a blast. So her one-liners in this movie are just so memorable. The Happy Camper song. You gotta love the Happy Camper song, man. It's so fun. The third one is nowhere near as fun as this movie, but it's still fun. It's my second favorite of the series. But yeah, it's just super fun. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the original. I'm not a fan of that director. I really don't like any of his movies. I just don't like that movie in general. It's not that fun. Number 3 is, to be more specific here, is going to be Halloween 4. Now, Halloween 5 could easily have made this list too. It gets an honorable mention too. But Halloween 4 is just like I reviewed in Halloween. It's such a great movie. Yeah, I did a review on that already. It's so great. Number 2, this might actually come as a surprise to some people, but this is a movie that I just watched it last night, so it's fresh in my mind. And that is Dolls. Now, I was planning on watching Urban Legend, but I actually didn't have enough time. It was already getting close to 1:30 in the morning, so I didn't want to be up till after 3. So I just popped this on. It's only 77 minutes long, and it runs like 73 minutes without credits. It is a blast, though, man. This is like one of those ones where you could probably watch with your kid who's like 7 or 8 years old, and really there's no content in this movie. There's some cussing and stuff if you don't, if you have a problem with that. But like, this movie is like one of those just like fairy tale, childlike movies. It's just got so much charm to it, and it's super creepy though at times too. It's got some, it's dolls, so it's gonna be creepy. But the special effects, and I was not even surprised whenever I saw John Carl Buechler's name on this. He is such a great effects artist. He does the effects for Friday the 13th, Part 7. He directed that movie too. And he also does the special effects for Hatchet, at least for the first one. I can't remember if he did 2 or 3. I think he did 2 at least. But he does the special effects for this movie, or superseded the effects for the Dolls. This is a really, really great film. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's got so much charm. And number one, I think my brother won't be too surprised with this one. And that's going to be Silver Bullet. Now, this is an 85 movie, so it just missed the 81 to 84. I don't know, it might have been mid-pack in 81 to 84, but because it's 85, it makes my number one list. This is my favorite werewolf movie. I really think that this is I don't know, man, this is such a charming, really, really good story. I absolutely love this movie to death. I just can't watch this movie enough. Gary Busey's so good in this. Corey Haim is great and so memorable. You know, Stephen King wrote the screenplay to this, and I don't know if this is one of the ones that he really, I'm sure it probably is. He doesn't like anything that doesn't have his name attached to it that was his work. So, yeah, it's just one of those movies, though, that really, really works. I love this movie. You know, the werewolf tale, it is just everything about it. If you haven't watched this movie, you know, I couldn't recommend it more. That's one of the ones I watched as a little kid, so thanks guys again for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this list. Let me know what ones you think differently also. And again, as I remind you, go and like the Body Bags page. Be looking for my videos every Wednesday. Again, like I said, slasher movies are going to be coming on, and you'll see that one tomorrow. I mean, even if you subscribe after, you know, Wednesday, you can always go back and watch the video of mine, so it'll still be on there. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and always, everybody, I love comments. I love talking with you guys. So thanks guys for tuning in. Yeah, again, let me know what you think differently. This Friday, I don't actually know what I'm going to review, but this Friday I'm actually going to be going to a horror convention. So I will probably I'll probably do a video on Saturday for that, and I'll do a review on Friday, so I'll probably let you know on Friday what I'll be doing for that video. So be looking out for a video on Friday. Again, I don't know which one I want to review. I have hundreds of movies here that I could review, so we'll see. So yeah, I'll probably do the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. I'll be getting to those tonight and tomorrow, so I might do those on Friday, just because I haven't seen them before, and they're Rob Zombie's best made, or best known films at least. Best liked, should I say. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in anyways. Be looking out for that. Have a great night, guys.